And we're recording. And welcome, Vicki, to my podcast that has been MIA for about 2 to 3 months now because I had a shitty roommate who made my life miserable, and I wasn't able to do any of these episodes. And finally, I have been getting my life back together in order to be able to
Yay.
do these. Right? It's a win.
I know. He's
Did you
liberating.
now? Did Dylan tell you the details of what was going on?
No,
Oh, you have no idea?
no.
Oh, wow.
He told me about it started with the whole ramen thing and Mike's ramen.
No. I'm talking about with the
Oh,
roommate
your
situation.
situation? No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
No. Oh, man. Oh my God. Like, imagine just having a roommate from hell and living with that from pretty much April. So you know how the coronavirus started, everything went crazy. And so essentially this guy decided to get a girlfriend and move her in once the quarantine started.
Okay, that's half a year.
Yeah. But they're gone now and life's back to normal. So I'm so happy about it.
That's good.
And for the people who have been wondering what happened to the podcast, that's what happened. My shitty roommate took over my life and made
Turn it
so
upside down.
Oh my God. Just the worst. But Vicki, I bring you today because you are my kindred Instagram spirit on as far as our Instagrams are essentially the same thing, except yours is Asian food. And I love Asian food, but I'm always so scared to get started. And this whole kind of conversation started because of the fact that I was talking to Dylan about some ramen that I found.
Yeah, exactly.
Of Mike's Mighty Good Craft Ramen. And it really said, first things first, I don't think, listen, if your name's Mike and you're putting out some ramen, I got to see some credentials.
Yeah. And claim it as like really good ramen at that.
Yeah. And just to call, I'm so used to eating ramen that I cannot read a word on the packet.
Yes.
But for you to come out and make Mike's Mighty Good, it was Mike's Mighty Good Ramen. And to call it craft ramen with all kinds of art, all kinds of healthy, original ingredients. I just can't, I was concerned that it was no good.
Especially when you hear like healthy in
Well,
it's like you don't really eat it expecting it's gonna be, healthy, fresh food.
No.
It's like, how healthy is it in a package of noodles?
Well, you know what the funny part was is that I was talking to Dylan about it. And those of you that Dylan was on the first episode of the podcast, Dylan and my buddy Alex. And I was asking him, like, how much sodium is in the human's daily consumption? And we looked it up. And the average human should be consuming anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 milligrams of sodium. And the average packet of ramen is 2,000 to 2,500 milligrams of sodium.
Yeah.
So you get one ramen packet and you're eating carrots for the rest of the day. You're not allowed
you're done for after one meal.
After one. But I was thinking about it. Does it make me a bad person?
To eat ramen?
No, to look at Mike's ramen and think, I don't know. I don't know about this guy.
I mean, I would probably question it too. When you posted it, I started laughing and I'm just like, yeah, who is Mike though?
Who is Mike?
Like, to put your name on it, it's like, who are you? I mean, if it was at least someone that I knew, like Gordon Ramsay or something, then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try it out. But who are you? Like, at least, some of the, even Korean noodles, some of them would actually have a little profile of who the chef is, if they're going to name it under that specific chef. And for this, it's just like, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, come on. Whoever you are, you need to come up with at least a credentials for us to know that your ramen is going to be good. That's all we ask for, just credentials. But I love it. I see you cook food all the time. And you're always are all the pictures on your Instagram, is that you?
Yeah.
That's you?
Yeah.
They look phenomenal.
My food?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, angles, nice camera, lighting. I think my phone has this thing where I'm using the S10, and it detects it when it's food, and it tells you when is a good angle. Because I mean, I'm not that great with
Hey.
photography, but it's like,
Samsung right here.
yes, technology makes it look so good. Probably better in photos than in person.
Well, I mean, I take photos all the time with my phone, and I look at the photos and I think to myself, my eyes couldn't even see that. How the hell did this camera pick this up? But yeah, your food is amazing. What is it that inspires you to cook?
I really like to eat. I mean, it's like, it's not even like I'm trying to craft my skills or anything. 99% of the time it's because when I see something or I think of something, I feel like I have to have it now. Like I need to eat it right now. And if I can't, then I'm binging YouTube, mukbang, eating videos until I fall asleep if I really can't make it. So most of the time I'm cooking because I just need to eat.
That's amazing. No, I love what you do because I love to cook as well, as you could see. Your presentations are so much better than mine.
I've seen your description that, like presentation, whatever, but it tastes great. The churro one was really funny.
It's like not great, but tastes great.
Right.
But
I like the churros one that you did.
I'm always looking to try new things, but one of the types of cuisines that I've always stayed away from is Asian. No matter what it is, I've always stayed away from Asian cuisine because of the fear of execution. Just I'm so worried that I'm not going to get it right.
Yeah.
And then I watch your videos, and I'm just like, well, Vicki's got it down for some reason.
It's not that hard. I mean, with what you're cooking, I mean, the method is somewhat similar. Like we have obviously we have like stir fry. We have a lot of soups, braising, steaming, and well, like deep frying. But majority of the time, it's a lot of like stir frying and steaming. I think is braising is a lot in it. So it's not hard, but I think what kind of Asian cuisine do you like? Do you have anything particular you wanted to try, or just?
Honestly, so the first thing that I actually want to try is doing my own kind of sushi.
Yeah.
That's where I want to start. And then I want to, because it seems like sushi is a great place to start. I could be wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, you've cooked rice before though, right?
Oh yeah. No, I got rice down.
I know. So if you're going to make sushi, the rice is the only thing you're really cooking, and everything else is more like how you're organizing it and how patient you are with forming it with your hands.
No,
so at least that part. I think you have it down because from what I see, you're pretty organized, systematic.
Yeah.
From all the conversations we've had. So really, that's just that. You have to have patience and just like take your time with it.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of rice, you saw those videos.
Yes, Uncle Rogers.
So yeah, how that guy, I looked that guy up he did that video. Before he did that video, he was probably averaging on his YouTube page anywhere like 10,000 views prior to. And then he did that first video and all of a sudden skyrocket. But he's just like, he's making so much sense because you're looking at the video and you're like, who the fuck strains rice?
I did at first. I saw it and I'm like, oh, how bad could it be? But she literally cooked it the way that you would cook pasta.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then when everyone went crazy, she's like, well, I know how to cook rice. It's just that I followed the recipe that the channel gave me. But I thought, if you're a chef though, if you have a recipe that's sort of questionable, I would think that you would second guess it a bit and maybe like not do it. So that was kind of really strange how that
I don't understand why you would ever take rice out of this is how I cook rice. And for those of you who want to watch this and judge me for it, the thing, I boil my rice, I boil the water, and I put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt in the water. and then I just put my rice in and then turn it down low and let it steam for about 15-20 minutes, depending on my water levels. And then I'll adjust water levels if I want the rice to be a little bit softer, if I want it to be a little bit grainier, things like that. And that's it.
That's it. I was very confused why the draining, because she put so much water and then she drained it out. And I mentioned before, I've only ever seen this in very minimal rural like areas in Vietnam, like in the countryside, when they think once you drain it out, like you'll drain out a little bit of the starch, and so it'll make it less fattening because of the sugar content being washed out. But even that is extremely rare.
Well, you just wash your rice before you put it in the...
Yeah, she didn't wash it. That was the funny part. It's like she did the after fact, and so now she has mushy rice, which she puts into a frying pan to fry with the liquid, which seems very like...
Have you watched his other videos too?
I haven't watched his other videos. I've watched some of them where I think he has a food truck, and a lot of people are coming to eat now with the fried rice, but I haven't watched anything else.
He goes to a friend's fruit truck, I believe is what he does. Okay. But there's one, the Gordon Ramsay one is hilarious.
He had something with Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah, so Gordon Ramsay is in Thailand, I want to say, and he's cooking fried rice in Thailand in the middle of nowhere, because that's how Gordon Ramsay does it.
Yeah.
But it is, and I watch a video like that, and I think to myself, yeah, I am so scared. Not scared, but just I don't want to be the guy that cooks Asian food and messes it up for everybody.
No.
Yeah, that's not the guy that I want to be. But I do have a little bit of a prowess when it comes to Italian food. I don't know where that comes from, but I don't know if Italian food is easy to execute. But I love making pasta from scratch. I love making gnocchi from scratch, and I will grill anything possible.
Yeah.
I love to grill. So you are Vietnamese. And so what is the difference? So if someone's sitting down and they're thinking to themselves, okay, what's the difference between a Vietnamese dish, or what are the things that would take a standard dish that you would see in most Asian countries, and then what would make it Vietnamese?
So all of the Asian dishes, I think, like say Korean food, Japanese food, Vietnamese, and Chinese food, honestly, we have a lot of similarity, with all kind of rooting from the very original. I feel like the Chinese cuisine took a major influence on all of us. So our cooking methods are similar, but we each have a set of different basic ingredients or flavor palette. So for Vietnamese food, I would say, first of all, we have a great combination of French influence and Chinese influence because of how they dominated our country in different phases. So if you see like our banh mi, which is the baguettes, it's French influence, but we've adapted it to change a little bit with what we like, which is like a French baguette is much like crustier and denser, and for us it's very crispy on the outside but super hollow and like on the inside, so that we can stuff it with a lot of stuff. So, and then our stir fries, soup noodles and stuff like that are very much Chinese influenced dishes as well. But if you're asking for a different taste palette, it's for Vietnamese, I think the main ingredients would be like fish sauce, some soy sauce. We have a lot of traditional Vietnamese dishes, includes a lot of braising, very concentrated braised food. So whether it's chicken or fish, you usually braise it in like this concoction of sugar, soy sauce, fish sauce, and it's really concentrated to like a deep brown caramelized color. So that's the flavor palette. And then for Chinese food, sesame oil, soy sauce, cooking wine, cornstarch, oyster sauce. That's usually what's in Chinese food. And ginger and onion is like in almost every stir fry. Yeah. And then you have Japanese food, which also has soy sauce. I mean, soy sauce is like in every cuisine, but even the soy sauce taste is different amongst all of
it
our.
Does.
It does. Like if I eat Korean soy sauce, you can really taste the soybean taste in it. And then Vietnamese soy sauce honestly tastes saltier. It's just salty. You don't taste a lot of that soy taste, even though it's all made from soybeans. So Japanese food you have as the main, which is sake, soy sauce, dashi, which is a concentrated, like a bonito stock, um, and miso. And then you have Korean, which has like that spicy profile with the gochujang, thick bean paste sauce, soy sauce, sugar. So when you think about it that way, you can differentiate it by that group of very basic flavors to start. Like that's really what we use for seasoning. And then everything else is extra, but that's the main. For Vietnamese cuisine, we have a lot of everything, but I would say if anything stands out, I think we have a lot of noodle soups. There's so much noodle soups. Pho is like the only thing that you really see here.
Oh, it's not
beyond
it's
hundreds of. It's like I probably eat pho like once a month, if not 2 months. Even though we could easily cook it at home, but because we have so many others, and I feel like Vietnamese cuisine is one of the least represented, even though it's popular, which is pho, but there's so much more beyond that a lot of times it's not cooked in the restaurants.
Well, you know, and that's interesting that you bring that up because I probably discovered pho when I was, I want to say 15, 16 is when I discovered it.
Yeah.
And it was a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah.
You know, there's a place at Young and Steele's, and it's right above or below a like karate. Is it karate or kung fu, a taekwondo place?
Oh yeah, I think it's.
But there's like a martial arts place
either. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to figure out what
it's on. So it's on the York region side of Steele's.
Yeah, I think it's called Lin or something. Lin.
I have no clue what it is.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I believe it's on the ground floor, and there's like a dojo on the second floor, and it's at Young and Steele's.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been there or you're familiar with it, but that was the first place that I ever went to experience it, and it was one of the it was one of the most interesting experiences that I've ever had, because up until that point in my life, anytime that I went to an Asian restaurant, I just looked at the menu and ordered. This is the first time I walked in, looked at the server, and the server looked at me, put down a plate, put down a card, gave me a pencil, and then walked away. Like, oh, this is on me now.
Yeah, you're on your own, dude.
And then I'm with one of my Asian friends, and he's like, "No, you just want to get this. This is what you need. We just write it down in here, and that's it." And this is exactly why you need Asian friends, people. This is exactly why, because you need to go to the restaurants that don't speak English, and they either have to order for you, or you got to write your order on a card, and then they walk away and give you back something delicious. But that was my first experience. And ever since then, I remember when it first started, nobody was eating it. And then fast forward maybe 5-10 years, it is the hottest thing around. And I think to myself, to you, it's probably just like, yeah, man, I've been doing this my whole life.
But I actually do remember telling my parents, because every time I go out with my friends, we're always eating something that's like not obviously Vietnamese food. And then when I started working after I graduated, so like, I don't know, 2012 or whatever, all of my colleagues and friends are like, let's go eat pho. And I go home and I tell my parents, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I guess it's a thing. Like, everyone knows how to eat pho. And when I go to the restaurant, I see so many, non-Vietnamese people eating. And I thought, whoa, we're actually like popular now, instead of like just like sushi or Chinese food at the time. So that was pretty exciting. Yeah.
And I think about it because I never knew what it was. All I knew was the soup. And as I introduced it to more people, and even here in Boston, right? Yeah. When I moved to Boston, the one thing that I was thinking about was like, I hope they have pho here, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to live without it. And they do have it here. There's not as many restaurants here as there are in Toronto, but I just feel as though Toronto is just a special city when it comes to food, that you can find everything that you're looking for in abundance. But it is something that just really took over, and I love it. I think it's the most delicious shit ever. Yeah, you got. I am a rare beef soup kind of guy.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, me too. I like the rare beef more than the cooked, like the cooked beef brisket usually in it.
Yeah, I get
But
those too, not too
yeah,
frequently.
yeah, I like the rare one. My cousin said that pho in the States are pretty good. Like he actually likes it better than
Really?
here. Yeah, he's gone to Boston and Texas, and he said both of the times he really liked it much better than here.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, well, here's my thing though. This is what I will say about it is that I find that in Toronto, the sizes are bigger.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, because the first time it was the weirdest portion size transition. Because when I left Toronto and I moved to Boston, the first thing that I noticed is when I went to a lot of restaurants, I couldn't handle the portion sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you go to if you go to any restaurant in the United States, you'll realize that once you order, I was ordering a burger, and I would have to eat maybe half the burger and the fries, and then I'd have to save the rest for later because I just couldn't
Yeah.
finish what I was eating. And then it was the inverse relationship when I went to like a pho restaurant where I was like, yeah, let me let me get a large. That should hold me down. And then I'd be like, okay, where's the rest of your large? Because this is a medium in Toronto.
Medium.
But I think both cities are very good. I think the only difference is I would say is the sizes. The
Yeah.
portion sizes are a lot different.
Yeah.
But I guess one of the questions that I have is because I have a friend who he's Portuguese, and he was saying that in Portugal they have something that is like a kale, potato, and leek soup, and it's really just something that people eat in the mountainside because they just kind of scrounge it together. They turn it into a soup, and they eat it.
Mm.
But if you come over here, because of the fact that it has kale in it and people go crazy for kale, it's considered a delicacy. Is that the same thing with pho? Is pho just something that like anybody eats by the
Yeah.
roadside? It's super
Yeah.
simple. Don't
Yeah.
think too much about it.
It is. Pho is like the equivalent of you eating like McDonald's, right? So, and even more so because like I was born here, right? So pho is normal to me. But when I went to Vietnam, I was even more surprised because people don't cook these things at home. I thought that they would because here my parents do, but because noodle soups and everything are literally everywhere and it's so cheap to buy that even if you have money or not, whatever, they don't cook it at home because you can just go out the street and pick like your favorite pho place. And usually, whatever the stalls in Vietnam that they sell, other than the newer restaurants, usually they've been selling the one dish for like decades and decades and decades. So it tastes consistently the same every day, and it's cheap. So people go out to eat that all the time, and for breakfast. I think that was the biggest crazy thing when I went to it. For breakfast, forget, like we just eat whatever here, breakfast food. But there, it's like I wake up, it's like 6, 7 in the morning, and they're like, okay, so what do you want? You want beef noodle soup? You want pho? Or you want wonton noodle soup? Whatever, like meals for breakfast.
And
And they would
I'm
just
sitting
be
there like,
eating pho in the morning.
eggs?
Yeah. And I couldn't really eat it because I'm just like, this is a big meal for breakfast. But they're like, oh yeah, I mean, you got to start the day with it. So they're eating this all day, every day there. So when it's here, like my parents are always saying that they wish we had a sort of legit fancy Vietnamese restaurant where you could kind of have a party at or a birthday at where you can eat a lot of things because it's just pho, which is fast food to
Vietnamese
so
people
it's
are just like, this is our version of McDonald's, and you somehow turned us into popular cuisine.
Yeah.
Yep, Dylan and I were saying the same thing. We were saying the same thing, but more about West Indian food, because he's of Trinidadian descent and I'm Dominican descent, so there's a lot of crossover in the cuisine, and we were saying that a lot of the places that you go to in Toronto to get oxtail, to get jerk chicken, to get rice and peas, things like that, it's been turned into like it's made the culture seem as though West Indian food is just fast food that you could just go in and get and walk out.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much more, and there's just no places where people can sit down and have a very nice
Yes.
experience eating that
Right.
kind of food. And it's the same thing for Vietnamese food. At least I
Yeah.
don't know a place in
There
Toronto.
isn't. That's why even for us, when we have anything major, we go to a Chinese restaurant, because really that's the only cuisine that has like a nice big restaurant with like a lot of food and like fancier food that's not just like or
Yeah.
a Japanese restaurant at least. And that's kind of unfortunate because we have so much, and just like what you said, like it's nice to just bring people in, introduce them to it, and sit down and have a nice meal.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Just
don't sit at a pho restaurant for like an hour or two. You go in for like 15 minutes and you leave, right? So
you walk in, all right, give me the soup. You want anything else? No. I there was there are two places on Yonge Street that I used to go to so frequently
Mhm.
that I'd walk in and they would see me and they'd be like,
I know, I got you.
I know.
Do they know your order?
Yeah, they know exactly what I came here for. I don't even need to order. I've ordered the same thing every single day for 2 years.
Whoa, VIP.
Oh yeah, same thing every single. I got super friendly with the staff. I feel like I was getting more meat. I'm not
Extra
sure.
meat. Sounds like something they would do.
But yeah, no, I love it. I say it all the time. You 100% need friends who don't look like you. I'm very serious. Like listen, I am a person who has various friends, and every single one of them has exposed me to something that I never thought I would see before.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because I learned, and that's the thing. People, get your if there's anything that you need to do, if you're watching this video and you don't have an Asian friend, stop this video, put it on pause.
Go find them now. But it's true though, once you try different things, and like from all ethnicity, like you really, like you missed out a lot if you didn't get to try.
Yeah.
Like everything and anything.
Yeah. And get yourself an Asian, don't get yourself an Asian friend who just stays in your country. Like if you have an Asian friend who's like from Canada or from the United States, and your Asian friend stays in the United States, it's not going to be a great friendship. You need a friend that goes back to their country occasionally and brings you back some crazy things that you've never ever seen before.
Yeah, that's the best when they bring back food. When my friends or family go on vacation, they ask what I want. I'm like, just food, like anything.
Yeah. If you go to your country and come back with some food that I've never seen before, I am the most excited person ever. And you call this what? Uh-huh. Thank you. I have a coworker who brought me Egyptian chocolate. I was just like, he's like, and this is, you don't need to explain it. You don't need to explain it. Just put it down in front of me and I'm going to eat it all.
Yeah, that's what happened. My cousin went to Japan last year, and I watch a lot of animes and Japanese drama and everything, and they've always talked about pudding being like the best dessert, which is like a flan here, but it's lighter, it's softer and creamier and fluffier. So I'm like, I need this. And so I made him like, please bring it back. And he's like, how am I supposed to bring like an cold dairy product like from there to here? I'm like, I don't care. You do whatever you
Figure
do.
it out.
Bring it back. So he got it just before he arrived at the airport, and he put it into his carry-on. And he said, dude, this is going to look so bad when I bring it back. It's going to like break and mush. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care how it looks. I just need to taste it.
He should have put it in his luggage. He should have, if it's cold, he should have put it in his luggage.
Know. He got it. He was afraid to get it too early, so he got it like literally before he went to the airport, and he just put it in his carry-on. And when he got back, like the syrup and everything sort of mixed with it, but it doesn't matter, Richard. It was the tastiest thing I've ever had. No matter where, I can't even get that here. I've been trying to recreate it, but it's not working out. I'm not very good at baking. Like I'm good with cooking, but baking is a whole other. I'm horrible at baking. People don't believe me when I say that. When I say
people who know how to bake are wizards.
Yes.
They're different.
When I say I can't bake, people don't believe me, but it's hard for me because I feel like you can't really see the result until it's done, and when it's done, it's a little too late to be
exactly. It's just you in this oven, and you're just like.
waiting, and it's like a scientific thing that I can't grasp around and play around the way that I do with cooking. And I'm a very spontaneous cook sometimes, so it's
people who can bake are a different type of human.
yes.
That have a whole different set of patience and skills that I don't currently possess.
I don't either. So I only cook the desserts that don't require like baking, like a tiramisu or a panna cotta. I feel like that's still sort of like a cooking thing. But anything like a cake or whatever that goes into the oven, I don't think I could do.
No, I'm not a great bake. I've tried to do cookies and brownies before, and they never really turn out the way that I want them to. And I've taken that, and it's not going to happen. Right. It's not going to happen. I know what I'm good at, and I'm sticking to it. Maybe I'll try new things eventually. Yeah. But yeah, it's very interesting and that's one of the things that I want to go to Asia for, is I want to go experience some of that food culture. And it's like you said, because one of my friends, he's from the Philippines, and he went to the Philippines recently, and he was telling me, like, you go out there and you just $1 or $2 American is going to get you a full meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, $2 American gets you a full meal? Like, what in the world is going on?
Right. And it's just, I love it. When I went, I ate so much because you see it right there. I feel like, how do you even say no? All the food is all around you.
I really hope that people eat before they watch this episode. I gotta start doing that. We're talking about food today. Please eat before this so you don't get hungry midway through. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing, because I've always looked at so, bringing it back, I've looked at Asian food, and it's always been something that I enjoy. Like, if anyone's telling me, hey, do you want to go to an Asian restaurant, I'm 100% there. And I got exposed to it from very, very young. I would say very young, maybe like 17, 18 is when I really started exposing myself to Asian food. Yeah. And hanging out with people who are from Hong Kong. Yeah. And them showing me their culture or how they eat food, and being a part of that. And I absolutely love it now. So, and even now when I, the last time I went out with one of my friends, and she's always like, you order like Hong Kong food when you go out. It's like you literally order what people from Hong Kong will eat. But I love it because it's, when I walk in, I'm in awe, because I know I'm not getting this at home, and I have no clue how to cook it. And to these, like, we call it Chinese food, but then they just call it food.
Yeah. Were you intimidated when you first had like Asian food?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Because when I brought my friends, I think they were a little bit shocked too, because I mean, they're used to like Asian foods in the mall, which is still like Asian food, but it's like you get a lot of the noodles and the spring rolls and chicken balls and whatever. And for me, like, I've never had a chicken ball until I was like 2 years ago, because you don't get that you go to like a authentic restaurant, they don't even have that. Or sometimes the funny thing is they actually have 2 menus. Sometimes they have the normal menu, and then they have like a little lunch special section that's like all in English, and you'll have like the chow mein and the chicken balls and everything. And then I laugh, because I'm like, well, why can't you give them like, I did legit went to a restaurant where they only gave like other foreign people just that menu, and I'm like, why don't you give them the full? Like, what if they want to try? Like, you don't expose it to them. But it was so funny, because I didn't expect to see like a separate menu for hair, you Western people. And it was so bizarre. And I went with my friends who actually obviously eat Asian foods, and they were pretty offended. They're like, I want the dinner menu with everything on it, not just this special combo thing that you have.
If you're taking me to a restaurant that doesn't have 2 menus, I don't want to go.
It was so funny when I saw, and they just made like pre-made combos for like the Western people or whoever that's not exposed to Asian food. And I was laughing.
Yeah, no, I love, like, listen, I enjoy that. And that's my introduction to Asian food, because so my introduction to the food, especially when I was hanging out with people who people who are actually born in Asia, and I'm sitting down at the restaurants with them, and I'm thinking to myself, they give me the menu, and I look at the menu, I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna need some help.
Yeah.
I don't understand anything on this menu. I'm literally just looking at pictures. I'm gonna need you to take the lead on this one. But
You're
that's
lucky you
how,
have pictures on those ones.
right? But that's how, that's how it all started for me, and just people telling me, here, eat this, it's gonna be delicious. Like, do you like this? Do you not like this? I'm like, hey man, I'm down for whatever. Just don't kill me.
Yeah.
And going through it that way, like, once again, that's how I love my food. Like, if I walk into an Asian restaurant and I can read your menu, it's not where I want. This is not where I want to be. If I can read
Yeah.
your menu, nah, we can't be here right now. Bring me somewhere else. It is something that a lot of people need to try, though. And you're right, that separate menu concept should go away, because people need to experience what it's like to eat real Asian food, not the I'm just here to dip my toe in the water Asian food.
Yeah. It can be scary. I think when I took my friends to a more authentic Chinese restaurant, and they realized a lot of the things are like seafood, shellfish, and everything else. It was scary to them. Or I think the most memorable one is when we have a full steamed fish with the head and everything on it.
Oh hell yeah!
It freaked them out a little bit, because they're like,
That's not just Asian people.
"Oh,
That's
I
not just
know,
Asian.
I know."
We do that in the Caribbean. We do it in the Caribbean as well.
Yeah, but a lot of people are like intimidated. Like, they're used to just a fillet of fish or something. I'm like, no, we eat everything. It's gonna be the whole fish. Just
The
pick it
whole
out and
fish.
eat. That's how we do it.
The entire fish. If you don't eat the whole fish, that's disrespect.
Yeah, I was laughing because one time we went to the Trump Hotel in Toronto, and they were selling the same like fish, but a whole fish, and then they amped it up, and it was like $50 for this whole grilled fish, and I'm like, dude, that would have been just like $20 at
Right?
any other old Asian restaurant. What's so special about cooking a whole fish? It's how you sort of normally would buy it anyway.
Yeah, the fish comes as an
As a
entire
whole.
fish.
But that's like what you said about sensationalizing certain foods and making it like really crazy.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and that's what that's what I love about those Asian food experiences, is because you can literally go to an Asian restaurant and get an item for $20, and then go to a steakhouse or a seafood place and get the same item for like 50-60 bucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing. This one's just in Chinatown, so it's a lot cheaper. And this one's over here in a financial district, so it's more expensive. But it's essentially the same thing. And the one in Chinatown probably tastes better. And it comes with more food.
The pricing is always weird to me, especially like duck. When you go to a
Yeah.
restaurant, like duck breast, just the breast is like $30-something a meal.
Yeah.
And then we have, I don't know if you've tried like the barbecue meats in Chinese places. You could buy barbecue ducks, pork, or whatever, but a whole barbecue duck would also just be $30, like an entire duck.
Yeah.
That we buy all the time.
I think well, part of it is you're paying for the sensationalization. Wait, what's the word?
Sensationalized pricing? No.
The ambiance. I'm just gonna.
Yes.
I'm gonna switch gears here. I'm just gonna say ambiance. But yeah, I think that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the ambiance in the transaction, and that's why you're spending so much money. But you can literally go somewhere else and get something better. And I can't wait until we start seeing more. Because one of the things that I've started to notice now, especially when I go to restaurants here in Boston, is Asian style dishes making it onto your kind of Americana type menus.
Yeah.
You have but you'll go to a restaurant and you'll see a California roll.
Yes. Yeah.
On the menu. You'll see a poke bowl on the.
Yeah.
I love those things. Those
Right.
things are like deconstructed sushi.
Yes, it's great.
And it is delicious. But I have a buddy who went on, Wade, who's been on this podcast multiple times, who went on a poke bowl riot and just cannot look at one ever again because he was literally eating one a day.
Oh my! Anything that you eat one a day, I think you'll get pretty sick of.
He was eating it like once a day. He's like, yeah, this is great. It's healthy. And then I think 2 months in, I was like, hey man, you want to go get one? He's like, no, I'm good.
Never again.
I've really exhausted the entire thing.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to do. It's really fun to be a part of that whole culture. And I think back, and I always say I'm really like, I'm an idiot, but I have great friends who are a lot smarter than I am, who make me seem smart. And if they didn't expose me to that, I wouldn't be able to say that I enjoy the things that I do today. I just got to get myself to start cooking it.
Right. But I think it's also because you're open. Because even if people expose you, if you're not willing to have an open mind about the food, you're not going to try. I've taken people to try things where no matter what, they already have a mindset of what they think of the food, so they're not willing to really taste it and appreciate it. So
what's your so you as a Vietnamese person and having the opportunity to reach out to the masses of the 20 people who are going to listen to this, including myself. So it's really 19. Outside of pho, in the Vietnamese culture, what else you got to eat?
If we're talking like Vietnamese culture, we have a lot of grilled dishes. Mm-hmm. So if you like barbecue and everything, but that's the problem, is that I wouldn't even know where to suggest people to go because it's not really offered anywhere. But we have a lot of different grilled seafood and meat skewers on like vermicelli noodles. We have, if you go to a pho restaurant, you can also try the spicy beef noodles. That's actually my favorite noodle soup, even though pho is popular. I really like the other one. It's spicy. It's got a deeper beef flavor. It's got a lemongrass flavor. It's really nice. If you get a chance and you see it, you should try it.
I will look for that now. I mean, I'm not going to restaurants right now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Some people I know are. They are 100% going to restaurants. I told them, just stay the fuck inside. Stay inside. What the fuck outside? Inside. But
try out another, noodle soup dish instead of a pho. I mean, I know not a lot of restaurants offer them. That's the problem. And I don't know how people can try to cook it at home if they haven't actually tried it before either.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of different things like that.
I tried to make pho once. It didn't go well.
What happened?
It didn't go well.
No.
I like to follow recipes, but I also like to be a little bit of a maverick.
Yeah.
And do my own thing. So let's just say doing my own thing was not the direction to go on this one.
Okay.
It was not there. It just, my noodles came out too mushy, and my soup came out way too strong. Like I didn't add enough water, or maybe I reduced it too much. I don't remember.
Too concentrated?
It was way too concentrated.
Well, you could have just added more water.
But it was the first time. It's definitely not going to be the last time it happens. Yeah. There's going to be a pho return in my kitchen at some point. Yeah. But it hasn't. Oh, you know what the craziest thing is too?
What?
I can't find Korean barbecue in Boston. Not saying that
you can't find Korean barbecue?
Not saying that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It exists. But None of them are, at least the ones that are in Boston that I know of. And there's, every time I think about saying something like this, I know there's someone that's going to listen to this, but no, you're wrong. You just don't know where to look. But there's not one in Boston where you could just go in, pay like $25, and it's just all you can eat. They actually charge you by per order.
Yeah, like a la carte.
Yeah. So if I come in and someone was telling me those bills get super high when you're ordering it a la carte.
Yeah.
Just no Korean. Like, how do you guys have a city, Boston? How do you have a city where I can't just wait? I can't just go into a place at 11 o'clock at night, give the guy at the front $17. I'm going to eat as much rice
Korean barbecue
and beef as I possibly can right now.
That's pretty surprising considering how many all-you-can-eat places and other cuisines that you guys have that you've talked about.
Yeah, wait a minute. I don't think I've been to an all-you-can-eat restaurant since I've moved here.
Really? My cousins were there and he said there's so many buffets, like American style buffet or even Chinese ones or whatever.
I don't think I've been to one though. I mean, I've gone for sushi where you just kind of order the sushi and it just keeps on coming. I still say Toronto sushi is better.
Yeah.
100%. I can't speak for, I mean, listen, if your cousin says Boston pho is better than Toronto pho, the man has more ground to stand on than I do.
I think the reason he's saying that is because now we used to have several pho restaurants that we like. And the funny thing is we cook pho at home. Like my mom cooks it all the time, but it's still a little bit different from the restaurant ones simply because when you go to the restaurant, they can cut the meat really thinly because they have a machine, which tastes really nice because it just mixed well. Whereas everything at home is kind of hand cut and sometimes it's a little too thick or whatever. And then even the pho noodles, I think that's the biggest problem with eating pho at home is that we can't seem to find a good noodles. They're either very soggy once you cook or it's just very stiff because they put so much, I don't know, this particular ingredient to make it stiff. And so it doesn't have that nice, fresh, chewy consistency where the restaurants, I think they just order from suppliers special to to the restaurant. So no matter how good the pho we cook at home, a lot of times my dad's like, I just want the noodles from the restaurant because we can't get good noodles. It really sucks. But nowadays, the pho places that we go to really doesn't taste very good because it's just very watered down. And it's very disappointing because there's a place that I've been eating forever and now it just tastes so bland. And I straight up asked, I'm like, what happened? Did you change the recipe? And she said, it's because, well, no. She's like, well, there's more, non-Vietnamese people coming in to eat now and they want to be healthier. So we're cutting back on the seasoning and the fat and everything.
It's like,
and
no.
I thought, yeah, like that really upsets me every time I get that with any cuisine, like whether it's Italian or American or Japanese or whatever, because I feel like if
you want to be healthy, go to a healthy restaurant. Don't ruin the things I like.
Right. Like that's how I go. If I obviously for your day-to-day meal, you want to be healthy, but I'm someone who would opt to eat a completely different, just healthy dish on its own versus compromising the stuff that I like to make it healthier. Like if I'm going to go eat Korean barbecue, I'm going to eat the meat. If I'm going to eat like a clam chowder,
know what I
want it to be made with cream. Oh, there's one time I went to eat clam chowder at this place and it was watered down and they were advertising, we use milk now because it's healthier. I'm like, no, you don't use milk for that. I didn't come to eat milk soup. It's like that. So with the pho, it's the same thing where if you eat pho how it should be, it would be like the beef broth and then a lot of people who likes to eat, it's gonna sound cringy, but like the beef fat, you would get a small thing on the side. And my parents like that. So just to put a little bit on top, it really makes it flavorful. I don't really eat that. But if you want to, you could ask for it. But nowadays, you can't even ask for it. So my dad asked for that side fat, and they gave him just a bowl of broth. And he's like, I want the concentrated stuff. And she's like, sorry, we don't have it because we're healthy now. And my dad's just like, I don't eat pho every day. I literally eat this once a month. I just want it to be the way that it should. But it's very hard nowadays to find that because, again, people are going towards the healthier route, which is good. But I mean,
Yeah,
like I
listen,
said, I don't eat
listen.
at the restaurant every day, so I kind of want to enjoy it when I do.
People, if you want to be healthy, there are places that you can go. Don't ruin the things that I like because you want to be healthy. Listen,
Yeah.
no one told you that to go to McDonald's and eat a burger. You made that choice.
Yes. Thanks.
You made the choice. But now because you're not happy with McDonald's anymore, now they got to serve a salad, and a Big Mac doesn't taste the same way that a Big Mac did when I was in high school.
It doesn't.
Different.
Okay, so it's not just me that's imagining it, because I don't
No,
eat it a
you're
lot either. And when I eat it, I'm just like, does it taste
listen.
unhealthily good like it used to? I don't know. It just didn't.
When I it's like I said at the beginning of the podcast. When I open up a bag of ramen, I'm not eating this because I think it's going to be good for me. I'm eating it because it's going to taste delicious, and I'm going to put a fried egg on top.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Whenever I bring noodles to work, I swear I get judged at work. I work at York with all of these older people that obviously do not eat instant noodles, but I have it in my office sometimes. I just want to eat it. Like, it's not because I just want to eat it because I crave for it. So I eat it and they're like, don't you cook? Like, why would you eat those things? And it was such hard judgment. And I'm like, well, just because I know how to cook doesn't mean I'm not going to eat things that I like.
Oh, it's just like, why? It's so unhealthy. Why do you eat it? Because it's delicious.
So I always feel awkward eating it because to them, it's like, you only eat this crap packaged food when you have absolutely nothing, or if you have no money or whatever. I'm like, no, I like it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you must be. No. It's just delicious. Have you had one recently? No. Well,
no.
here you go.
I offered, but no one wanted to try.
Right. It's packed full of sodium and MSG. It's great for you.
It's great.
Great for your taste buds.
It's probably not
terrible for your liver.
I don't think it's any more crazy than eating like some pizza. It's probably like the same amount of salt, maybe. I don't know.
It's an insane amount of salt.
It probably is.
It is an insane amount of sodium.
Yeah.
But and wait, what was I saying before? Oh yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna finish my first point. But yeah, it's don't ruin the things that we like. Because because that's the thing, like we go to the same restaurant, like we go to a lot of restaurants over the course of our time, and we start to like what's there. And all of a sudden, because everybody needs to be healthy, and I'm like, and I agree with that, because I'm a person who is quite the healthy individual. You know, I work out regularly. I try to eat healthy regularly, and I do all those little things. But when I go over here, this is exactly what I came here to do, right? It's like everybody trying to market me low-calorie beer. It's not what I drink beer
You shouldn't be drinking beer, period, if you didn't want to be like unhealthy.
It's like, oh, I need low-calorie beer. And I'm like, you're in this game for the wrong reasons. You're really in this game for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But I think about, sushi places in Boston are not as good as, that's what I was talking about before. Sushi places in Boston are not as good as sushi places in Toronto, because I find that Boston sushi is like, either it's all the way up here or it's down here. There's no
mid ground.
Yeah, there's no middle ground. Whereas in Toronto, there's the entire spectrum of sushi. Whereas here, it's like you're either spending, $20 or $80 for all you can eat.
Yeah, so there's no like mediocre, like affordable.
Yeah, there's no like, hey, let's go to this sushi place because it's after work and it's gonna be good. And what I do love about sushi places, though, and just all Asian food in general, is I feel as though they haven't picked up on the fact that they can charge more for alcohol.
Yeah. I think it is always a little bit.
Is that cheaper. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it is. Unless they're trying to lure you in, it's cheap, so have some more.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I really need to start creating like a circle of friends and being like, hey man, you want to go out for drinks after work? All right, let's go to this bar.
No, Asian.
Come over
Asian
here.
Asian restaurant.
Let's go to an Asian restaurant. We'll sit down. We'll have a couple of drinks. It's like $3 for a beer. Really? Yeah, I don't understand why either.
Yeah, it is true. That's true.
Right. You go there, get drunk, and then walk out with some food. I love it. It's been the one thing that I always do when I go to an Asian restaurant. It's like, hey, hook me up with a really underpriced beer. Yeah. Once again, people, don't make the things that I like healthy.
Yes.
I'm not coming here to be healthy. If I wanted to be healthy, I'd make a salad.
Yeah. That's the way to go. Don't compromise my food.
Don't
It's easier
compromise.
that way.
Keep the whole world, keep everybody happy. All right.
Yeah.
Just because oh my God. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. All of a sudden you walk into the restaurant and you order something that you like. Yeah, let me get the burger with like a pound of bacon on top. Oh, we don't serve that anymore. Why not? Well, we just had a lot of people who were saying it wasn't healthy enough. Well, screw that.
Yeah.
They're not the ones ordering it. I am. I'm the one that's putting my arteries on the line here for this
it's
level
my
of
choice.
enjoyment. Yeah,
let me do it. Or just don't advertise it as being the same dish. I get so disappointed because it's just like
two menus.
Yeah, 2 menus. No, but really, going back to that, I think you should try sushi. I feel like you would be able to make it very well from how I see you cook.
Yeah, I'm not great with the photo. I feel as though my photos do not do my meals justice.
They don't even look as bad as you say, to be honest.
I feel as though
you have a high judgment on your own photo.
I feel as though my photos don't do my meals judgment. I think if there's a better angle or maybe there's a better plating that I can do. But sushi's where I'm going to start because sushi seems like it's one of the easier things to do, which is just cook the rice and don't mess up the rice.
Yes.
And then
rolling it.
Yeah, and having the proper tools to roll it. And then from there, just start expanding into different things and different Asian seasoning and spices. And that's my next goal. That's my
When you have when you purchase whichever cuisine that you want, but if you have those set of ingredients, basic ones that I told you about, you can make any dish in that culture. Like seriously, like the base is just that, and then anything else is like whatever produce you have, but you can always make it with those flavor. You can differentiate them easier that way.
That's hilarious. Oh, you have chicken over there? Yeah, man. I'm just gonna add a little ginger and a little spring onions and some sesame. All this shit Asian now.
Yeah, if you do like a soy sauce, sugar, dashy thing, then it's like teriyaki chicken. That's Japanese. If you wanted to make it Chinese, do some stir fry with ginger and onion and oyster sauce. It's Chinese now. If you want to make it Vietnamese, do some lemongrass and fish sauce, and you have Vietnamese chicken. Yeah, very simple. I mean, it's the cooking method is very much the same. It's just that small change in flavor profile that makes it different, really.
So my new one of my life goals right now that I've kind of started to think about, and as I've talked to other friends of mine, is I want to go around the world, or if not go around the world, but just have something in my home that is native to somebody's culture. So if I'm putting together my appliances, right, and so for example, one of my Moroccan friends, she showed me a teapot. Right, like this is the teapot that you have to have in your home. Yeah. If you're Moroccan. Yeah. It's very specific. They have their own style. It's different from other teapots that you could find in that area of the world. So what is that thing for Vietnamese people?
What is that thing for Vietnamese people? I use the oh my god, what is it called? That grinding thing. I don't know what it's called.
A muddle?
It's a muddle. Yes, a wooden
muddle. Something like a little, like a
motor grind. Yeah. I use that a lot for my Vietnamese cuisine, and I use the wooden ones, not the ceramic ones, just good old wood. I use it for when I make soups or whatever. We use a lot of herbs, and so anything where you just crush it to make the base of the soup, it really brings out the flavor, especially when we make fish sauce, all the chili, garlic, crush it in. That's one thing that I always have and use. But otherwise, everything else cooking instrument wise, I mean, I think it's pretty generic.
Pretty generic. That one thing. That's the
A
coolest
wok.
thing.
We need a wok. We do a lot of stir fry. The wok and chopstick is like the only thing that we use for everything. I don't use tongs or whatever. It's just chopsticks and a wok. The wok, you use it to fry, you use it to stir fry. It's everything. I barely use the normal like pan.
Yeah.
Really big pan. It just everything just flies out. I don't know. You can't do anything crazy with it. I just
can't keep all of the things that I need.
Yes.
Inside this right now. It's
if you notice, like Asian cuisine has a lot of various different ingredients in one dish.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it's not just okay, here's your poultry and here's your vegetables inside. Like everything is like mixed together a lot of times, so I need that space. So I'm using a wok for everything. Yeah, I think the wok is actually is important. And
the wok, the muddle or grind, whatever it's called,
and chopsticks. Chopsticks is used for everything, anything.
I love going to I love going to there's a weird thing of like how I know sorry so there's like a weird preemptive thing in my mind of when I go to a Asian restaurant. I judge the Asian restaurant and how good it's gonna be by whether or not they offer me a fork when I walk in.
Oh my God, it happens all the time.
Like if I sit down at an Asian restaurant and they give me a fork, I'm like, oh, so you guys think I can't handle the food that you guys got here?
I think it's happened to Dylan several times where they gave him a fork as well. Or they'll ask, do you need a fork? And he's like, no thanks.
But if I go to an Asian restaurant and they give me chopsticks automatically, I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious. I'm like, so you think that
I can handle
that I can handle this? Okay. It might be good. It might not be good. Like I need that transaction of you can't use a chopstick. And then when I do use the chopsticks, I always like think in the back of my head, like I showed you, man, this is shit delicious. Yeah. So chopsticks, and I have I actually have chopsticks, I do have. They're bamboo. Yeah. You know what? I don't have them anymore because miraculously my chopsticks disappeared when my roommate moved out. So I have to get.
How conveniently missing.
Yeah. I think I went with bamboo chopsticks. I don't know if that's the way to go.
Yeah, no, that's good. You just don't want, you do want it to be kind of like raw. If it has like a very shiny coating, sometimes it's not that good because I don't know what's coating and sometimes it burns. Mm-hmm. And obviously the when you go to just any restaurant, like pho restaurants, they give you that yellowish white ceramic-ish plastic chopsticks. Do not use that to cook. The one that you eat at
Yeah. Well, here they just give you wood. Here they give you
okay.
Here they give you the a lot of the restaurants here give you the ones where you just pull them out of the paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't really give you the ceramic ones or whatever, plastic or whatever they're made out of. Yeah, you don't see that too much here.
Oh, okay. Well, now here, because of COVID. But before, we still had like normal chopsticks, and that one you can't use for sure. It'll burn.
COVID is really. When is this going to be over?
I don't know. It's been so long. It's getting worse now too. So it's like I see no hope until next year. I was hoping. I'm like, maybe it'll be gone so that we actually have a Christmas, but maybe not. I don't think so.
Christmas has been canceled. The entire summer 2020 was canceled. Halloween 2020 is going to be canceled. There will be no autumn fun.
Yes.
And
is there any hope for Christmas? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Oh man. Is Asian Christmas different? Not in the sense of like.
Oh my God.
It's not what I meant. Yeah. That's not what I know that came off very weird. But as soon as you said Christmas, I was just like, I wonder if Asian Christmas is different. Like, I'm pretty sure they still do Christmassy shit.
Yeah.
I wonder if the food's different. Like, are they eating turkey?
No. No, so
That came. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry,
no,
people. That
it's
came off
hilarious.
super arrogant.
It was actually the first time I went to Vietnam was actually during Christmas, and it was very different. And then now I'm not even talking about food yet, but how they celebrate, because well, Christmas was not traditionally celebrated in Vietnam, but now that times are changing and newer, everyone's adapting to like all the holidays. So on Christmas, it's like a day for people to party. So when I'm there, here you stay home and you do the whole gifting thing. I was there the one year, everyone was out in the streets. There's fireworks everywhere. It's like rave party, like whoa. And I'm like, whoa, I thought you're supposed to stay home to open gifts and stuff. But no, it's just an occasion to party. But for us, for Christmas, we don't do the like turkey. I mean, my mom works for a chicken factory, so we have a free turkey every year.
Nice.
My mom used to bring it home to do like whatever the TV looks like they're doing for Christmas with the turkey, but no one really liked it. They're like, we've had enough chicken, poultry all throughout the year. We don't want that. So she smells it every year. So when we have Christmas, it's like buffet food galore. It's like everyone brings so much food. We literally have enough food to eat for 3 to 4 days, and they still cook new food. It's crazy. Like we have a bunch of seafood, lobster, crab, whatever, just mountain stuff.
Sounds like my family. Except
Yeah.
I don't know if your family does this, but in my family when we do Christmas, for some reason people start cooking again at like we'll have Christmas dinner.
Yes.
And then people start cooking again at like 3 a.m.
Yes, that's
it's
exactly
like,
how it is. That's
and
exactly how it is. You could even ask Dylan. That's exactly how it is.
And the worst part about it, especially in my family, is like, and this will happen all the time because I have such a large family. So we'll all be like at one house, and then a dinner will happen, and then everybody will be sleeping in the house everywhere. And then, maybe my aunts and my mom will kind of wake up and they'll start cooking food at 3 o'clock in the morning. And because you smell food, you wake up and you're just like, oh, what's going on in the kitchen? And then they're suddenly looking at you like all of a sudden you're greedy. Because you woke up for smell food, and that's why you come to the like. Yes,
yes, that's precisely why I'm there.
I was sleeping. I smelled food.
I get up and I'm coming here 3 in the morning.
Yeah, you just guys were gonna cook food at 3 o'clock in the morning, and nobody would have any questions.
We're exactly like that, except no one sleeps. So every time we have any large gatherings or Christmas or whatever, it's like you have the food that's not even finished, but because all of the men in my house would just be drinking all throughout the night, and then they like variety. So even if there's still food, when they drink 1 or 2 in the morning, it's like, no, we need more food, and they would just cook more food, like new food, that even though we have so much left. And it's always like that. We would have a huge birthday because I have like 30 something people in my family. So every time we go to the restaurant to eat, we'll eat, and on the way home they're already thinking about what to cook when we're home, and we just had dinner, and the moment I'm home they start cooking to eat dinner number 2 and number 3, number 4. Doesn't stop.
That's what it's like. Listen, if your family doesn't have like cooks dinner before dinner, don't invite me over.
It's insane. And they never finish it, but they do it.
I need an abundance of food. If you're gonna invite me over to your family dinner, I expect everybody, like if your family goes to bed at like 11 o'clock when the dinner's over,
no,
that's not how it's done. We need to start cooking again at about 3 a.m.
Yeah. See,
that's how we know we're having a great time.
That's how I ended up liking to eat so much, is because I'm always surrounded by food. I'm always talking about food.
I think it's just, I don't know what it is, but I find that a lot of people, it's all about food. A lot of cultures you go to, it's all about food. You have a great time with food. And you try so many different things, and there's food that you eat in the morning. Here's breakfast food, and sometimes breakfast food in one culture is not breakfast food. It's like you said, you're in Vietnam and they're eating pho at 6 a.m. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's pho, so what? Like after 6 p.m. is a good time to do this. A really heavy meal. I'm probably gonna eat this for the last thing of the day. So no, it's an amazing thing to be a part of, and I can't wait to learn more about food. I can't wait to do more interesting things, and I can't we we do have to wrap it up because I'm trying to keep these episodes to an hour.
Yeah.
Because I know.
Yeah, it could go on forever if we don't wrap it up, if it's food.
But I can't wait to have you back. We'll talk more about food, more about different things. Have a great time.
Yes.
Vicki, thank you for coming through today.
Thank you so much for inviting me to talk about food. It's very fun.
I know. Well, hopefully, that's just the idea. Is just like I said in the past, I got a lot of really smart friends who have their own little interesting experiences and have so much knowledge and information to share. And I want to, create that platform for people to share it because it's so fun to talk about.
It is.
And then maybe along the way, it'll become super famous and I'll get paid money to do this. And then I'll just have all the food.
Exactly. The end goal is always to buy food and eat all the food and cook all the food. It's always the food.
I have a problem with that.
Do you want to see? This is my what my life's end goal I aspire to be. It's a nice piece of steak.
Are you the steak or are you the person?
I'm the happy butter. This is a melted piece of butter. This is what I tell you when I have food everywhere, is that this is literally the goal of why I work every day.
I work every day for what? So I can eat.
For that. Yes. Exactly.
I literally work to eat.
Yep. If I win the lottery, my only goal is that I could just eat anything without thinking about how much it costs me there.
Not even thinking of, I love how it wasn't even, I want to eat as much as possible, but I want to stay healthy. Just like, no, I just want to eat.
No, I just want to eat.
No matter what.
Yeah.
I want a lobster that was caught in Alaska today. I want it.
Yeah.
I want to call Alaska and say, listen, go get me a lobster, get it to Toronto right now.
No.
I want it.
It's going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No price necessary, which is amazing. Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. It's such a big part of our culture.
Yeah.
But thank you. And big episode just to come back and be able to do this again. It's so fun to do. It's such a stress relief when I do this.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Yeah, it's like it's opening up. So
cool.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Anyone who is gonna watch this, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I love when people leave comments because it makes the podcast so much more interactive. Everybody leaves me comments in text messages. So just put it, there's right below the video, there's a little box that you can leave a comment in, not my phone number.
Yes. Please comment below and subscribe.
Yes. Don't send me a text message. Although, thank you for the text message.
Yes. Please copy and paste it over to the comment box. Thank you very much.
It makes it look like people are interactive.
Yes, cool.
Thank you, Vicki.
You're welcome.
And peace.
Bye.
Bye. And